on X, and I have no idea who this is. I have literally no idea who this is. I don't even know why this was sent to me, to be honest with you. It looks like a brand new YouTuber, brand new Twitter account, brand new YouTuber. And one of the first videos, it seems to be him going after the anti-woke crowd, supposedly being one of them at one point. I really don't know who this is. So we have this video here by somebody called Palsy, whatever. Again, I have no fucking idea who this is. But apparently he's talking about Vara Dark and Endymion. And some of the stuff he's talking about, some people didn't like, wanted me to react to it and give my, give my opinion on it. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna go over it and see exactly what he's got to say. I've never heard of him either. Sorry, Anime Mania. I've never heard of this guy either. He's got 298 subscribers on YouTube, but I don't care about someone's subscriber numbers because number one, I remember what it's been. I remember what it was like to have 0. Let's just put it like that. And number two, I like to give everybody an opportunity. So people are saying he looks woke. I don't know. I guess we're gonna find out. All right, we're gonna put the volume up. Let's see what he's got to say.
Okay, I've changed my tune. I cannot be associated with these hotheads anymore. I'm starting to become the very thing that annoys me. Why am I getting sucked into being a hater? When did I become a cynical brat? I've been hearing so much anti-woke rage that it's actually starting to rub off on me. I feel like a teenager getting influenced by the punk kids to smoke cigarettes. Like I'm being corrupted.
Okay. You know, I hear that a lot. I hear that a lot when people are like, "Oh, I'm hearing so much outrage that I just can't take it anymore. I want to be focusing on positivity, blah blah blah, whatever." It's like, bro, the fact that you consider it to be negative content shows me everything I need to know, right? Because like I've told you guys many times, I don't consider my videos to be negative content because I love talking about what the industry is doing, whether it's good or bad. And unfortunately, right now, it's a lot of bad. But I don't consider it to be negative. I feel like it's a good thing to inform people about some of the things that are happening in the industry. And again, that's good or bad. Doesn't matter.
So many people are writing off the new game called Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet. I'm sure like a lot of you have heard of the game, obviously. It was at the Game Awards, and I'm starting to question whether or not we're all going through some kind of mass hysteria. Naughty Dog has literally never let me down. Outside of killing Joel, which did make me want to punch and smash a tiny little rodent, which I didn't, but the intrusive thoughts did come. But yeah, I saw the trailer for Naughty Dog's new game, Intergalactic, and I literally reacted like it was a Ubisoft game or some other bloated AAA title. I had like this knee-jerk trauma response because, you know, I saw a ball-headed girl boss type character, and I immediately started coming to the conclusion about the game, like, oh, like this game's going to suck. This game's going to be woke. It's going to be slop. You know, it just started jumping to conclusions. Then I took a day, took a breather, and I realized that I might have a subtle case of PTSD, and so does everyone else. Like I noticed myself grumbling like an old disgruntled factory worker, sitting pissed off in a bad mood for absolutely no reason. Like I was just listening to people around me complain, and I like mentally joined in.
Yeah, but see, to make it seem like all they're doing is complaining is an extremely disingenuous like take. Like this whole thing just screams fake to me, and I don't know why. I don't know why, but it just does. And again, I don't know this guy, but this 100% seems like he's like somebody put him here. Does that make sense? It just seems like somebody put him here. Because I don't understand how somebody who supposedly thought anti-woke at one point is using terms like rage bait and all this stuff. You know what I mean? Or like using terms, you know, like, oh, just these people are complaining. Like, no, they're not complaining. They're talking about the good and the bad. I mean, Endymion fucking showcases every time he platinums a game. The guy talks about the good and the bad in the industry. Vara Dark plays so many games on her live stream. She talks about the good and the bad in the industry. If all you're doing is seeing the bad, then you are obviously only paying attention to the bad. you know? And this is what I tell people all the time because they try to tell me too, well, all you do is talk about negative stuff. You sure? Because I have streams where I'm playing video games nonstop, 5 days a week. I have a manga channel where I upload videos 7 days a week. So if you're only seeing my supposed negative content, then that's because that's all you want to see. So maybe it's more projection on, you know, a projection about what you are and what you're doing versus what we're doing. You know what I mean? Maybe that's a little bit projection to you. I literally just spent an entire stream yesterday for 2 hours, 2.5 hours, giving away over 15 video games, bro. You mean it's you fucking serious right now? So these are the kind of people that'd be like, oh, all you do is negative stuff. That's all you pay attention to. That's not our fault. That's you.
Like mentally joined in. Am I slow? Can I think for myself?
No.
Like I also follow the rage bait squad of Vara, Dark, and Endymion. And
you see, go back. You heard that? That's where that makes me think it's a plant. Did you hear that? The rage bait squad. Come on, bro. Who uses terms like rage bait, bro? Come on.
people around me complain, and I like mentally joined in. Am I slow? Can I think for myself? Like I also follow the rage bait squad of Vara, Dark, and Endymion. And even though, you know, I like some of the stuff they say, they make some good points here and there. Like I realize that their cynicism, it's starting to rub off on me. And it's probably rubbing off on a lot of other people too. Like I think that's reflected in the dislikes and the top comments for this trailer for Intergalactic. But really, like when has Naughty Dog made a bad game? When have they made a flop? Was Crash Bandicoot, Jack and Daxter, Uncharted, The Last of Us 1 and 2, were they flops? Like, has this company ever crapped in my face and told me it's chocolate ice cream like like Ubisoft has? Why do I think it's a good take to write off games just because there is a slight little...
So when it comes to The Last of Us 2, I think that's the first game where people would consider to be a bad game from Naughty Dog. And a lot of the shills, what they like to do is they like to use the sales as an excuse, right? But the funny thing is they don't ever want to admit that the sales for The Last of Us 2 were kind of inevitable, right? If you think of it like this, I see it equivalent to this, right? So imagine being a YouTuber and you release one video and that one video gets 10 million views and you never release another video again for 5 years. Are you a successful YouTuber? Right? So what do I mean by that? So Naughty Dog takes its sweet time every 5 years or so, 6 years or so to release a new game. The Last of Us 2 has been dragging along multiple console generations, right? Multiple console generations. The Last of Us 2 has been re-released on multiple different consoles, multiple different remasters, and they all count that under one singular sale. So that is why the numbers are so high. Honestly, it's really not as high as it should have been compared to the first one. The first one is much higher. But the numbers for Last of Us 2, the only reason why it even got there is because it dragged its way there. It's the same reason why Dragon Age Inquisition, has 10 to 12 million sales. They even admitted it took a long time for them to get there. They dragged their way through multiple sales to get there, right? So the number of copies don't really matter, especially when you're talking about the number of copies after the first year that the game came out. Because most likely after the first year the game came out, it's probably not going to be sold at retail price. It's going to be sold at half off, if not less. So it doesn't really matter how many copies you sell because the dollar per copy is way lower than your first year. So you could sell 10 million copies. It doesn't matter how many of them were at full price. Not many, right? So I don't really look at the number of copies per se, especially I look at it more if it's the first year. After the first year, I don't really look at it too much. But in any case, this is not a good example, right? The Last of Us 2 is universally hated by a ton of people. And sure, there are some people that do like Last of Us 2, of course. There are some people that do like it. Obviously, I'm not one of them, but I know some people that do. Some people I even talk to do like The Last of Us 2. I tell them they're wrong, but that's okay. We're allowed to have a difference of opinion. But that's probably the first game that most people would consider to be a flop or at least commercially hated, at least commercially hated by gamers. So that energy for The Last of Us 2 is going to transfer over now to Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, on top of all the nonsense that we're currently experiencing right now with gaming and all that shit. So this is going to be a very interesting thing because it's a brand new IP with no legacy to it, no lineage to it, right? So it's going to be completely brand new. So we're going to see if people actually like it as much as the previous games. But I don't know if you guys noticed, the Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet trailer got nowhere near the amount of views as like The Last of Us, for example. Nowhere near the amount of views. The interest doesn't seem to be nowhere near as much. But granted, The Last of Us has been out much longer, so you can kind of put that into, into that sway. But this guy is screaming plant to me. I don't know why, dude. I don't want to be one of those guys, but he really is screaming plant. I don't know who this guy is. 298 subs, no idea who he is, but the way he's talking like a lefty, desperately trying to pretend to be a centrist. You know what I mean? Like he's trying to be one of those I'm totally nuanced kind of guys. Anyway.
Little whisper of wokeness in the opening trailer. Like, is this a form of mass psychogenic illness? Like, there's not enough information on Intergalactic to make any sort of judgment at all. People keep saying, where there's smoke, there's fire. Like, it's not actually an intelligent take to spout one old-ass saying in place of any relevant information on a game. I'm done with it. I'm actually done with it. I'm hopping off the train, boys. I had a moment of clarity when I was watching.
I don't know if he was ever on the train. Like, you know what I mean? It's kind of odd to me. Like, here's what I'm going to say. And I've said this so many times before. If you're angry at people who are looking at the trailer and thinking this looks bad, and then thinking to yourself, my God, guys, why are you not waiting until the game comes out with more gameplay before you make up your mind? Then how come you don't tell that to the shills? How come for the people who are like, this game looks like a 10 out of 10, I can't wait to play it, it looks amazing. How come you don't tell them, dude, you haven't even seen anything? Why are you shilling? Why don't you wait until the game shows you more gameplay and an actual real trailer before you make up your mind? How come you don't say that to them? All people ever want to talk about is the people who are angry at the game. But the shills, they're allowed to make up their mind from a trailer, but we can't? We can't make up our mind from a trailer, but they can. It's like, okay.
Watching a video with Vara Dark, and she said this.
Only are all of the trailers getting massively downvoted, but the Naughty Dog shills are completely coping and seething. Now, the Naughty Dog shills are not handling this backlash well. They have been freaking out for days at this point, saying, oh, you don't actually know what this game's about. How can you judge it? But my response would be, why release trailers then? The reason companies release teasers and trailers is to try to get people hyped. Yes, they want a positive reaction, but ultimately,
shout out to Vara Dark, by the way.
It's for gamers to judge their product. Why would they release a trailer that they didn't want us to judge? That absolutely makes no sense.
This was an announcement trailer. The company did not release the trailer because they thought that they would receive a well-informed feedback on what their game would sell like. So it was a sneak peek. Like, I think they're smart enough to know that in absolutely no way did this trailer present enough information to indicate how the final game would be received.
So if that's the case, if they had no indication of that, then why did they turn off the comments when they put the trailer up on public on YouTube? Why did they turn off the comments? Like, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Why did they turn off the comments, bro? They knew exactly what this trailer was going to do for people. They knew exactly the mindset that most people were going to have when they saw this trailer. They knew from the get-go, right? They knew from the get-go. So it doesn't matter whether it's an announcement trailer or not. The moment you show a cinematic or the moment you show gameplay, people are going to determine their first impression immediately. It's called a trailer. It doesn't matter if it's an announcement trailer. It doesn't matter if it's a gameplay trailer. A trailer is going to immediately trigger some form of a first impression right off the bat. Right? So I don't think that's a bad thing to say at all. Just like it goes in the other direction too. A trailer like this is going to get all the shills going crazy. They're going to be like, oh my God, this is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. Can't wait to play this game. 10 out of 10 already. You know what I'm saying? So it seems awfully odd to me for someone to say, well, an announcement trailer is not meant to give a first impression. It sure is. You know what kind of a trailer is not meant to give a first impression? A title trailer, a title teaser. You know what that is? So a title teaser is like Elder Scrolls, right? You guys remember when they did an Elder Scrolls title teaser trailer where all it did was show the words and that's it? Elder Scrolls 6, remember that? Where all you saw was the logo? Then that's the kind of trailer that's not meant to give you a first impression, because all it is a word announcement like, hey, we're confirming Elder Scrolls 6. We're working on it. And that's it. But the moment you showcase a cinematic trailer, giving a little bit of the world that the gameplay, the game is going to take place in, who the main character is, some of the story, when you get a little bit of that backstory to it in the trailer, once you go that far, once you do all of that, then a first impression is 100% warranted. And to think otherwise is insane. It's insane. Anyway, let's continue.